just so amazing. It's a spinoff of Titans, bro. Like, how is that show a spinoff of Titans, dog?
Oh, really? I didn't know it was a spinoff. Hey,
Yeah,
everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of Fire Films. I am one of your hosts. I'm your co-host, LK, the God, the deity, the mogul. Before I introduce my other co-host, first, let's talk about this goddamn merch shirt I have on my head. Hey, everybody, see that Fire Squad merch? You see that Fire Squad merch? Contact me or email firesquadnetwork@gmail to contact the gang, and we will direct you how to get some, or just contact us to tell us how good we're doing or whatever topics or podcasts you want to spawn on us, and we could, we'll talk and we'll talk turkey and stuff. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel and leave a 5-star review on our Apple Podcasts and iTunes and all that stuff. I guess it helps the algorithm. I'm not an iTunes guy. I'm not an iPhone guy, so I don't really know how that stuff works, but it does help our analytics. And I am here with C Jizzle live from Liberty Sizzle, aka Puffco Poppy. What we puffing on tonight, kid?
weed. No, just anything with terps, man. Live rosin. We only do dabs out here, so I've got some MPX live rosin. It's glorious. So what? Headphone mishap. Yeah, I'm ready to talk about some Doom Patrol, a show that I love that spun off from a show that I hate.
Yes. Me and C Jizzle have been watching Doom Patrol on HBO Max. It's an awesome show. It's a really good show. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It can be a little goofy at times, but it's very, very well grounded. And the first half of the first season, it only seems a little bit slow because they're doing a whole lot of character building and a lot of backgrounds and stuff, but they do it in a way that still makes it interesting. And their villain in the first season, I forgot his name, Mr. Nobody. What's his name?
Mr. Nobody.
That's one of the most original villains I've ever seen because he's omnipotent, omniscient. He's funny. He was really good. How'd you feel about him?
Yeah, it was dope. They got I can't even remember. I forgot. I'm blanking on the is it Alan Tudyk, or I'm trying to think of
Alan
that.
Tudyk.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To be Mr. Nobody, and it's great. Like I said, he's straight character from DC Comics. They even kind of looks like that in the comics, where he's kind of like a disembodied Dada arch form, is the Brotherhood of Dada or whatever that he runs. So yeah, it's cool. I love Doom Patrol. It's goofy. It takes its roots straight from the comics. I didn't start reading Doom Patrol comics till season 1 of the show came out because I didn't know anything about the Doom Patrol. So in preparation for when this show was about to drop, I was like, yeah, I think it's when that DC Universe app dropped too. So like I got that and I was like, all right, they had all the Doom Patrol comics. I fell in love with it. Like I think it was Alan Moore's run, or it was great. It's a great weird ass comic. Like I always tell people when they ask about the Doom Patrol is the DC team you call when things are just too fucking weird and you don't know what's going on. So like if there's a crisis, you call the Justice League. But like the famous example is like Paris got disappeared overnight and was in a painting. So where the city of Paris was just a painting. So they call the Justice League, and the Justice League's like, there's no one to punch. What do we do? So that when you get something super weird, that's when you call the Doom Patrol. Like when it's just like something just so weird that Superman is just confused. So you call the Doom Patrol, and then they deal with the problems so weird that no one else in the DC universe can figure it out. And they are offshoot of the X-Men. Basically, people felt like the X-Men ripped off the Doom Patrol basically because the Doom Patrol was invented first, and then the X-Men came out, were far more popular. And most people know the X-Men, but the Doom Patrol as a concept is pretty much the same thing. It's like a mansion with a sketchy wheelchair bound guy collecting extraordinary people with extraordinary abilities for his own nefarious goals, but also to help humanity.
Right. Yeah. You just said you started reading the comics. Is there any similarities or parallels between the comics and the TV show so far?
Yeah, they pulled some storylines directly from the comics, especially in the early seasons. I remember they did what was it with the like the scissor hand people or whatever. Like they it was like the scissor people that was like a weird arc. I remember that was directly from the comics. I think it was season one. And
Yeah, I
with
see.
the it was with the Uncreator with the big eyeball in the sky and shit like
Oh
that.
yeah, I
Like
remember that shit. Yeah,
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 yeah.
and, like in the snow globe or whatever. Like that's straight from the comics. There's a lot of stuff with the original Doom Patrol stuff with the black guy running the school with the old Doom Patrol recruits. That's something from the comics. So a lot of the storylines actually they pull from the comics. The stuff with Dorothy, Chief's daughter, and her reality, warping powers so she can manifest her imaginary friends. She's kind of like a Legion type situation that she's got where she's like ultra powerful, but she's also like a little girl, and you have to like try to control her,
Yeah,
without being too controlling because you want to give them the freedom to grow up like a kid. But at the same time, like when her imaginary friends could murder you,
yeah,
it becomes a situation.
yeah.
So
She's
like yeah, so surprisingly, as absurd as the show is, it's actually sticking pretty faithfully to the comic books.
mhm. Speaking of what was it? The X-Men ripping off the X-Men and Legion. You spoke of Legion. They actually have a Legion on the team, Crazy
Yeah,
Jane,
true.
which is really, really interesting because she has a litany of powers, depending on what type of personality she has. But it's really different personalities in one body, and they all have a spot in the light, so to speak. How does you feel about Crazy Jane so far?
I like Crazy Jane. Like I said, I like Crazy Jane a lot in the comics, and I like Diana Guerrera's take on Crazy Jane. I think she does a great job with it of
Mhm.
switching between the personalities of having us getting to know some of the personalities more like Hammerhead and some of the ones
Yeah,
that come up more often and stuff like that, Flit and stuff
yeah,
like that. So I like that she's holding it down to several characters. Now I think there were 3 seasons in now, like we're starting to really see, like I said, like she is more than one character. Like Jane is just the forefront of all those personalities, but she does a great job of bouncing between them. And the background of the trauma that created Jane in the first place, I think, is really interesting, and how they continue to handle that.
yeah. That makes Jane very, very interesting, like you said, because the relationship betwixt her and all her personalities is always every episode in a state of flux. Like there's always like some type of infighting between her and her roommate, so to speak. Robot Man, Brendan Fraser, my favorite character. How you feel about it, Robot Man?
Roman Man's cool. He's like probably my favorite character in the comics. I mean, he's definitely fun in the show. I think he could be a little over the top in the show with just always
Mhm.
just always just the fuck this, fuck that, and just being like a fucking dumbass, especially like the last couple episodes with like the pills and stuff, where it's like, okay,
Yeah,
Cliff,
that
come on,
was
dog.
irresponsible, to
But
say the least.
yeah, but then again, like he was never a responsible dude. So like it tracks with his character, but it is kind of like frustrating and kind of like annoying sometimes with the robot man. But like he's a really cool character. He really is like I feel like in the runs of comics that I read was like the main character, of the Doom Patrol. You're really seeing it from Cliff's point of view and just how fucked up his situation is. Like yeah, he is that is a terrible situation. Like, what's your power? I'm a robot. What? Like,
Yeah,
my brain is just in this robot thing, and like, they really go through it a lot more in the earlier seasons of like how horrific that is. Where it's just like I can't feel anything, I can't eat, I don't get to enjoy anything. I'm just not, and it's like, and it's more fucked up. And they kind of allude to it more this season, this more recent season. But like, Niles put him in a shitty ass body, like Cyborg's in like this fancy ass top notch. He's got all this technology, and
uh,
Cliff is in like a 1975 Chevy,
I
basically.
I kind of was like, oh, why do they hate Niles so much? And I'm like, yeah, they all these motherfuckers have a very good reason to not like him. Like they
Yeah, they
really
do.
do.
They did a great job of doing what they should do with Xavier and more stuff, and like kind of like take the mask off of them being terrible people. And I think they really leaned into that more with Doom Patrol because it was worse what he did to them in the show. Basically, I mean, he does that to them in the comics too, where it's like he orchestrates all their terrible accidents. So it's like
Yeah.
there's a good reason he ruined all of their lives for his own means. Like, and then pretended to rescue them and care about them like a family. So like, yeah, they should hate Niles, and Niles is an awful person, which is they get into, which is like, yeah, like it's similar, like I said, to what Xavier does, and they're kind of pulling the curtain off of that in the current X-Men comics too. Of like, Xavier, he's kind of awful, and he's kind of been awful, but we see him as this like, benevolent figure. But when you look at his actions and his motivations for, it's like you're kind of a terrible person. So again, a lot of people feel like the X-Men stole from Doom Patrol and then just became more popular, so people just didn't give a fuck about Doom Patrol after that. But like Doom Patrol was invented first. So if someone stole from who, it was definitely Marvel who jacked that concept. But you know how much I love the X-Men, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna let that slide.
How did you feel about Rita Farr, the Elastigirl? She her composition changes with her emotions. How you feel about Rita Farr? What do you know of her?
She's very like she's more of like a motherly figure in the comic books, and she's like the adopted mother to Beast Boy in the comics too. Like he's really, because Beast Boy is supposed to be on the Doom Patrol set of Cyborg, but they flipped it for the show. So
Really?
Cyborg has nothing to do with the Doom Patrol and has never been on that team.
I
But
figured.
like in the show, he's taken Beast Boy's spot in the team because Beast Boy is like has his history is with the Doom Patrol. But I like Rita Farr. I like what they've done with Rita in the show like a lot. I think I do. I don't like that she's not really like that motherly leader figure, but at the same time, I like what they've done. I like the actress and how she plays Rita, and like how Rita is just on this arc of being like super unsure of herself and like having no confidence and like, just really not knowing beyond that, like what her destiny is, especially this season where she's like, I feel like I'm destined for something great, but I don't know what it is type shit. And, she wants to be a hero, but she's also not heroic and just trying to, deal with that. Like her powers are more Reed Richardsy, but like they played him more for horror in the show, where it's like she doesn't have great control over her power. So like
no control, really.
Yeah, if she doesn't have control, she's pretty useless. When she just
She
turned into
hasn't
a
had
blob.
control of them yet, and it's season 2.
Yeah, I mean, season 2, she started to work on it, and she has a little bit of control over her powers, but her powers are directly tied to her emotional state.
Yep.
So as soon as she falls apart emotionally, she literally falls apart physically. And it's like you're not very useful if you're just a blob on the ground. Like that's not super useful for anything. But I just like the actress. I like how she plays Rita of this kind of like she cares about everyone in this like motherly way, kind of still like in the comics, but more of like she's still also super self-centered though. You know what I'm saying? And so you can see the actress and the how she's still kind of like full of herself, but also like really down. It's like she down bad too. So I think it's a really interesting balance they're playing for her. But she's having a really strong season, playing off of Michelle Gomez, playing of Madam Mask, or I think that's her name, Madam Rogue. That's what it is.
Yeah, Madam
Rogue.
Rouge. Yeah, Rouge or some shit.
Rouge, yeah.
Yeah. What do you know of Madam Rouge? Because I don't know who Madam Rouge is or the
Not a lot.
Is.
I know that she's from another member of they're pulling from the Brotherhood of Dada. They're the Sisterhood of Dada now on the show because they've already done the Brotherhood with Mr. Nobody. But basically that's what all these villains are from. Like I always forget the gorilla's name, but the gorilla in the brain, Monsieur Gorilla or whatever with the fucking hat. The French talking gorilla in the brain and the fog and Mr. Nobody. Like all these are people from the Brotherhood of Dada or whatever. So I know that Madame Rouge, her powers is basically the same as Rita's, but probably a little better because in the show they show that she can turn into anything. Because she turned into a fucking ottoman, which was hilarious.
Into a tire. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. So like, which is hilarious in the moment, but yeah, she can turn into objects, or she can change into other people. She can stretch and stuff like that. So I don't know much about Madame Rouge in the comics other than that. I haven't gotten through all my Doom Patrol run, but I do love Michelle Gomez, the actor that plays her, because she was on Doctor Who and she was amazing in Doctor Who as Missy. So like I'm a huge fan of her, and she's perfect for the role so far.
All right. Who do we have left? Matt Bomer playing, what is it, Negative Man?
Yeah, Negative Man. That's really interesting because at the parts of the Doom Patrol where I started reading, Negative Man was already Rebus. He was already not Negative Man anymore, which is a whole thing. Basically, where I started in the Doom Patrol comics, Negative Man was basically a hermaphrodite woman, basically called Rebus. It was like a black woman and a white man or something like in the same body, and basically still had like the mummy negative spirit thing going on, but like it's weird and it got super weirder than it is.
It's
And so
weird
in the
already. I don't
yeah,
want to
it's
spoil it.
even
It's
weirder.
weird already.
Like literal hermaphrodite, like with dreads and stuff like that, but also negatives. It's weird. But I really like Matt Bomer's performance though. Like he's probably one of the more likable members of the cast. He's like the more relatable
Yeah.
people, and like his outlook is really refreshing for the team, and basically him struggling. Like I said, it's a very interesting seeing him try to deal with the negative spirit. Like there's this thing inside of you that you can't really communicate with. It kind of just does whatever the fuck it wants,
Well,
and you have to deal with it.
yeah, the thing, like, it's really communicating with him. Like, it makes better decisions than he does most of the time.
Yeah, and it seems like it's trying to get him to be a better person, because like
Right.
he's kind of cowardly and he's kind of like, like what he did to his family back in the day, even though it's tough, I'm sure, being gay back in the 60s and stuff like that. But like he still did his family dirty and his kids and stuff like that. So like,
Mhm.
his kids hate him and stuff like that. So he still has a lot to answer for, but mostly not because he was a bad person, but because he was more cowardly. You know what I'm saying? Like Larry just wasn't, he's just not brave. You see that whenever there's like a conflict, or he's just like, I'll stay back and I'll chill with the bus.
Right.
Or it's like, I don't really want to even be doing this.
Mhm.
Like, and Rita has to usually drag him into every conflict. So he's just not heroic by nature. But again, the Doom Patrol are not traditional heroes. I feel like they're more paranormal investigators than they are like a superhero team.
Yeah. All right. One character left we haven't talked about. It's Cookie Cutter Cyborg. I mean, I'm just learning. I was today years old when I found out that Beast Boy was actually supposed to take his place, supposed to be in his place. But I guess it kind of works because this team really needs a rudder. And I think he's their rudder, or their kind of their leader, because they'll be all over the place, literally, if they didn't have him.
Yeah, he's definitely the leader. I think he fits well, actually. Like, I expected to hate this version of Cyborg. Like, when I saw the pictures and the iteration, like, I was fully expecting to be dunking on this, but I actually really like what they've done with this version of Cyborg. Like, honestly, like what the actor's done, how he fits into the team, like you said, like he's kind of like the leader because he's the only one there that's like a real hero. So
Mhm.
when stuff like he's the only one who brings that mentality of like, no, we're the hero. We need to help people. We need to investigate, and how that clashes with the rest of the team, who is like, bro, like we just live at this mansion together, nigga. Like we're not heroes. And he's trying to make them more, and he feels like they could be more. And also just like the stuff with his dad, I think it's really interesting what they're doing, where the stuff they're doing with Silas, where it's like, you didn't have to make me like this. And they've done something really interesting, is like we still don't know how much we can trust his dad. Like we
Mhm.
still don't know how much his dad is bullshitting. He seems to be on the up and up. He loves Vic, but like there's still some shady secrets that are going on. Like, and he even kind of admits, like, I mean, I didn't have to turn you into Cyborg, but the opportunity presented itself. So it's kind of sketchy. Like, did you do this to further your research? Like, there's still
Kind of,
some really
yeah.
sketchy stuff with his dad, but at the same time, like, and I think it's interesting stuff he has to grapple with, especially the stuff the last episode was dealing with the dude on the bike or whatever. He's just like,
Yeah.
and
I didn't understand.
really saying some real shit where it's like you're on some like rah cop stuff, but you're over here dishing out the same repression that I don't think your people would appreciate. You're still a black man underneath all of that, and that was an angle I wasn't expecting him to get so deep in, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is a real ass conversation. And he
Yeah.
really questioning this man's blackness right now in the show. Like the
Mhm.
Cyborg at the end of the day is kind of a cop. He's kind of a goody two shoes kind of like character. And this is
Mhm.
getting into some layers that is really interesting, that I think is far more interesting than anything the big budget Justice League film did with Cyborg.
Yeah. Um, which one of these characters or villains in the show would you consider overpowered?
I mean, I don't think anybody on Doom Patrol is really overpowered. Honestly, I feel like they're a pretty weak team overall. Like the Doom
Mhm.
Patrol, unless you're talking about like Dorothy or something like that. But like,
Well, yeah.
um, I don't think anyone's like Cliff hasn't like in the comic. Cliff eventually gets a new body, so I don't know if they're going to do that in the show. But he's still not going to be overpowered. But he'll have like weapons and shit. So I hope they do eventually upgrade Cliff's body, so he gets like his new body that is built where he has like missiles and he has like weapon systems and he's not just like a fucking old clunky robot walking around. But I don't think anybody really on the team is overpowered. I mean, Mr. Nobody's probably overpowered if talking about villains and stuff. Or Dorothy, like I said, Dorothy's I could think of because, as you said, she's essentially just kind of like Legion, where she can manifest personalities and things. So there's really no limit to her power, especially with like the we saw with the candle maker and stuff like that. So I think Dorothy is probably the strongest person on the Doom Patrol team. Jane, maybe, because
Yeah.
maybe there's some personalities we haven't seen that are stronger.
Mhm.
But I mean, they're not a super strong team, but like I don't, they're not supposed to be. Again, like I said, they're not a superhero fighting team really. Doom
Mhm.
Patrol is more of like, and they fight, but like they deal with weird shit. Like their whole thing is like when shit is too weird for the Justice League, you call the Doom Patrol. When you
Yeah,
don't
go
know what the
fight
hell
some
is even going
butts,
on,
some shit.
yeah, it's like when you don't even know what the bad guy is or what's going on. That's when you call the Doom Patrol. When they have characters like Danny the Street, and they
Yeah,
have characters, that are
or
just so
the
weird.
sex demon or some shit.
Yeah, they got
The
sex ghost in there, and
sex
like
goes. Oh my god.
even the supporting characters, like I said, like the Dead Boy detectives, like to bring them into it, it's like they're
Hey, they
real
supposed to get their
characters.
own show now.
Yeah, I heard they might do a spinoff. I saw Dorothy left with them too, so I guess we
Oh
might
shit,
get
yeah.
another spinoff of a spinoff.
She
And I
grown
feel
up
like
too.
that's
My bad. Go ahead.
you said what?
Go ahead. I didn't hear you. No, I said
No, I just think
go ahead.
that's the most amazing aspect of the show. That it's fun off. It's all gone downhill from there. But Doom Patrol has thrived. That's why I'm just baffled. Like, are the same people working on? They not working on this? Like, I don't know. One show is like a 0 out of 10 for me, and the other one is like one of my favorite shows that I watch every week. And like, it just baffles me that they have spun out of the same universe.
Oh man. Hey, Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns is the head of this. So I guess they need Jeff Johns over there at what is it, Titans?
Jeff Johns, I thought he was overseeing like all the shit though. So like, it shouldn't be no excuse. It's like I just don't understand how Titans can be as bad as it is. Like I've seen bad shows. Like we were talking about, they're like Supergirl ain't been good all seasons. Is Batwoman's a terrible show, but I don't think any of those shows are worse than Titans. Like I it is getting like amazingly bad. Like
Hey, what episode are they on? We gotta wait till the last episode so you can have like your own special to talk
yeah, no,
about
I think it's only
Titans.
2 episodes left. They're on third. I think this was episode 11 last week, so it's like out of
Great.
13. I think.
I can't wait. I can't
I
wait
hope.
for that.
Yeah. No, I'm telling people the only reason I'm still watching it is so when I rip this thing to shreds, people can't say that I didn't give it a fair chance. Like I watched every minute of this goddamn season, every moment. I fucking watched it in its entirety.
Mm.
So you can't say that I didn't watch it and I didn't give it a chance. I'm giving it a full chance. And it's like I said, like I would put this season of Titans, and even the other seasons were bad, but they weren't this bad. This I'm telling you, this is another level, dog. This is another level of shit TV that I don't think I've ever experienced, especially with beloved characters, that characters people like and care about. Like I know these characters. I like these. Some of these are my favorite characters, like Tim Drake, and I like Donna Troy a lot. Like, why are you doing this to me? Like, do you? I feel like someone hates me, and like that's why.
You personally, we're gonna fuck CJ.
Yes, like someone personally hates me, and it's just like we're just gonna make the worst.
Oh man.
People like the Teen Titans. Why don't we just piss them all off? Why don't we piss them off and make the worst show? How about we character assassinate every character? How about we don't do any character
He said
justice?
every character.
Every character. How about we ruin everyone? How about we don't do any character justice? Not even close.
Oh man. Hey, listen, I can't wait for what vice did you have? What were you smoking while you were watching Titans?
You gotta smoke just to make it tolerable, man. Like, cause I don't drink a lot anymore. So like that's the only way I can enjoy it. And I'm still just laughing at just like how bad it is. Not like it's a good show. Like they still I've been counting, like Beast Boy has still not turned into anything this season other than a tiger like twice for like 30 seconds. Like
Not even a
Starfire has not
right.
used her powers. She lost her powers conveniently again. Like, oh, Blackfire took my powers. Like, and Blackfire has not used those powers. Like, they never had the budget to do a Teen Titan show. So, like, I don't understand why they didn't just call the show Robin. and just focus on the Robin stuff, and maybe have like the Titans people come in every once in a while when you can afford it, and just stick to like ground level and make this like an Arrow type show, because 85% of the show is just Robin stuff anyway. So it's just like, what are we even doing? Like
Robin and that weird Batman. That's all it is.
Don't even worst cast.
I don't want to trigger you. I don't want to trigger you. All right.
Khaleesi. Like this nigga's Batman. Like 67-year-old Batman, who you never see in the bat suit because he would look ridiculous.
Oh my God. Sir Jorah Mormont is Batman.
Sir Jorah Wayne is in that jump.
That is a bad cast.
And he's terrible, and he can barely speak in an English, like an American accent. So he's like struggling to not sound British the entire time.
Speaking of American accents, Cyborg from Doom Patrol, he's British. I didn't know that.
And you would never know it from the show.
I didn't even know that. That's great.
Yeah, he's done a good job. Yeah, I saw him talking in an interview. I was like, what the?
Yeah.
What in the Idris Elba is going on?
He was like, good day. I was like, oh, whoa. Okay.
Oi, bruv.
Whoa. All right, but Doom Patrol is an amazing show, everybody. If you had to rate it, what would you rate it, CJ?
Like overall? Like the show or just?
The show.
Like an 8.5 out of 10. It's fun. Like I don't think it's ever like groundbreaking TV, but I've never watched an episode and not enjoyed it and not had a good time with it. Like
it hasn't been a bad episode yet.
Yeah, I think again, like I don't think they've ever missed, even the episodes that weren't great, where I enjoyed. There was at least a moment where I laughed out loud, or like something in it that was really cool, or something that got me intrigued to want to watch the next episode. So yeah, like Doom Patrol is solid. That's top-notch streaming entertainment, in my opinion.
Me personally, I will give it a 9 because the show has the ability to, like I said earlier, they have the ability to drag it out, even if you consider that to be dragging out, to explain everybody's intricate story and backstory. Because if you remember how the show started off, it started off with Mr. Nobody narrating, just catching niggas up.
Oh no, it's even deeper than that. His superpower is narration.
Oh yeah,
brilliant. Like it's a brilliant idea.
Crazy.
Like he's omnipotent because he's the narrator of the story, and whatever he fucking says just kind of happens in the story because he's the narrator, which is super meta. But like that is his in-show superpower, that he is the omnipotent, aware narrator. And if he starts narrating something, it will happen. That's how good the show is. And
they it give you in-depth backstory on all the Doom Patrol characters, even Niles, even his daughter, their abilities, and they just have a whole bunch of goofy shit going on, and they actually make it interesting. There's a lot of action, a lot of comedy. I would have to give it a 9 for making it actually interesting for it. That's an ability. Whenever a show makes you love it and you're not even supposed to love it, or this is goofy, this is terrible, this is bad. No, like, I really love Doom Patrol. I give it a 9.
I totally agree. It was like a pleasant surprise because, like you were saying before, like I didn't expect to like the show at all, especially spinning off of Titans. It spins off of Titans. You heard how I was just talking about Titans. So my expectations were low as shit when the show came out. And then I saw Cyborg and I was like, I don't know about this, dog. And then like that first episode, like you said, it's great. I think it has a great pilot episode that really gets you interested in who all these characters are. And it does a great job in its 45 minutes or whatever, 50 minutes, whatever its runtime of the pilot. And it does some great work in getting you on board and getting you interested. So yeah, I agree with everything you said.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on a special episode of FIYAfilmz, Doom Patrol. Go comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts when you see this or whatever. Also, contact somebody in the Fire Squad Mafia for some merch. Thank you for joining us on a new episode. I am LK the God here with my co-host. I didn't mean to kill you. C Jizzle live from Liberty Sizzle, aka Puffco Poppy.
So I also have to add that the Doom Patrol intro is fire too.
Yeah, with the smoke and everything.
Yeah, I love that intro. I don't know what it is about it, but that all slaps.
Yep.
Yeah, whoever put that score, I think it's a song. Whoever did the composition for that, shout outs to you. I don't know who you are, but
And what's funny, a lot of the stuff like the montages from the intro is a lot of shit that's happening this season. Like if you really pay attention, you see a lot of that shit like happening this season, which is interesting.
yeah, it's just showing like all the characters and like where they're coming from and like a lot of their origins and stuff. It's cool. I think it's a cool sequence. I never skip it. So whenever there's an intro that I don't skip, I got to give it a shout out because I'm all about saving time and skipping long ass intros that suck.
Yeah, and trash shows like Titans. Thank you everybody for joining us. Tell someone you love them, gang.
Dang, dang.